Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy 13th day of April. Happy day 103 of the year. How are you feeling this morning? Hopefully you had a lovely weekend. You had some rest and relaxation and some yin time. That's what the weekends are all about. And now you're ready, refreshed, and all ready to start a new week on this 13th day of April. Day 103 of the year. According to 365 Tao, our word for today is reciprocity, which is really, when you think about the yin and the yang symbol, that balance, that's what reciprocity really is. It's harmony, it's balance of the two things, the balance of the two opposites, the balance of the light and the dark, the balance of the male and the female, the balance of all the things that are supposed opposites. When they're balanced and harmonious, they're in a reciprocal exchange, and that's what you want all of your exchanges to be, especially in your relationships. Sometimes you're going to be the stronger one in the relationship and you're going to be there to offer support. And then sometimes the person that you're in the relationship with is going to be stronger and the one giving support to you. So that's what it is. It's a constant exchange, a balanced exchange, a reciprocal exchange. So let's see what 365 Tao has to say for us on the subject of reciprocity. So grab your books, grab your journal and something to write with. Find a nice, quiet and comfy place where you're not going to be disturbed for the next 15 minutes or so while we read together. Focus on your breath, be present here and now and grounded. And let's start reading together on day 103, reciprocity. Hands grasp, but also give. Mouth tastes, but also speaks. Nose breathes, but also smells. Eyes see, but also show. Ears hear, but also balance. The hands teach us not to be selfish. The mouth teaches us to give thanks in word and song. The nose teaches us to learn from our environment. The eyes teach us how to show compassion and sincerity. The ears teach us to keep our balance. All parts of ourselves both give and receive. And that's what reciprocity is. It's giving and receiving in a reciprocal exchange, in a balance. They function on a principle of reciprocity inherent in their very character. If our senses are so noble, shouldn't we be as well? The eyes of a dedicated person show an inner fortitude and charisma that the eyes of the ordinary do not. Scientifically, we know that an eye is an eye, a mere organ, yet experientially we know that the eyes are virtual windows of the soul. Have you ever heard that saying before? And you may have heard it throughout your life. I know I certainly have. And it really is true. Your eyes are a virtual window to the soul. Even if someone's not saying something, they're not communicating in a verbal way, a lot of times you can look into their eyes and really, really understand what's going on. And there's also a lot of psychology and research behind people that won't look you in the eye, or when someone's being deceitful or dishonest or they're lying, the eyes can give that away a lot as well. But even if someone's joyous and happy, and you can see it in their eyes, the eyes really are the window to the soul. They're not just the organs. For us to achieve similar depth of character, we must live according to the inherent nobility of our nature. Each one of our senses is not simply an information gathering faculty, but is a channel of expression as well. So that's a beautiful way to think about, your senses, think about your physical body and what it can do. But then also just thinking about reciprocity as a way of being, and especially as it becomes in your relationships. Think about how you like to give and receive in your relationships, and then think about what makes a relationship a solid and a good one. That giving and receiving is in equal balance. It's harmonious. It's like the yin and the yang. It gives and it takes, it gives and it takes, and it's a constant cycle. And when you think about if you're in a relationship with somebody that's just constantly taking and taking and taking and taking and taking, what happens when you're constantly taking? You drain that resource. You're depending too much on that resource, and you're just draining it of whatever it is. And that's, for example, if you thought about your time or energy as like a bucket of water. If someone was just continually taking and taking and taking from that bucket and not refilling it, not replenishing, not reciprocating, what's going to happen? That bucket is going to become empty. It's going to become drained. And that is also true for you and your energetic resources. So perhaps take a moment to think about the relationships, especially the significant relationships in your life, and think about your relationship, yourself in those relationships. Are you a giver? Are you a taker? Do you feel that it's a reciprocity exchange? It's a give and take. It's balanced. It's harmonious. And then think about some relationships that perhaps don't have that reciprocity, that aren't imbalanced. And that could be either coming from your side or the other side. And then think about perhaps how you can make some adjustments to make sure that those exchanges that you're having are a little more reciprocal, a little more balanced, and that exchange of giving and receiving is in a harmonious, balanced reciprocity kind of a way, so that no one's getting drained. It's an equal balance. Sometimes you give, sometimes you take. So something nice to think about in relation to relationships. A nice journaling prompt as well, just to kind of think about your relationships and if you're giving or receiving in equal measure. I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day on this 103rd day of the year.